All right. Well, I thought we'd do a different approach here. My name is Martin Casado. I help Dr. Goodman and putting these videos together and putting all these things. And also been a former client, so I thought it'd be interesting to do a perspective on following up on the coaching styles that we've been doing. Dr. Goodman's coaching style and coaching with him with a video we posted the other day. And I wanted to continue on showing that how it works. So a little bit of our story, how the process goes, how we met, how to get coaching and stuff like that. And even an end result ended with a book, Fridays with Goodman. And that's why you've been seeing him say these topics of Friday with Goodman. You can get this on Amazon. We'll show you all the links and everything below. First off, just how you doing, Dr. Goodman?
If I was doing any better, they'd have to make two of me. Many years ago now, there was this guy named Martin Casado who started showing up in my office and sitting in this chair over there to do some work on achieving things to overcome his own stuckness. Somewhere along the way, I can't remember exactly how long into it was, but you called me from Barnes and Noble and you said to me that you had the name for the title of our book. And I remember thinking at the time, book? What book? What are you talking about? A book? And it was especially poignant for me because one of my goals and aspirations and affirmations was that I was a writer, a speaker, a teacher, and a coach. But it never actually dawned on me that I was going to actually write a book. And so there you were at Barnes and Noble, and you said that you had the title of the book. And I said, book, what are you talking about? And you said, well, you know, Tuesdays with Maury? And I said, of course. And he said, well, our book is going to be called Fridays with Goodman. And so it was born. And it was born that way because one of the truths I've come to know, and I'll pass it along, is if you want to have a life worth writing about, the secret is to start writing about your life. That the big reason people's lives don't turn out, I guess you'd have to say, better than they wish they could is because they keep being stuck in their stuff and constructing reason upon reason upon reason why not. And the why not gets to be about mostly one form or another of I'm less than, I'm not enough, I'm broken, I'm stuck, well, you tell me, Martin, what was it for you that first got you to decide to do the work? And then B, as we started to do the work, what gave you the courage to make the changes that we started talking about would make changes happen in your life?
Right. Well, first off, as going into the point of talking about how to start the coaching with you and how that even started, how that initiated. I was doing some design work for you and putting it the website and doing this, and I think you kind of structurally saw that I was being a typical artist, kind of fumbling around, and meaning it wasn't. I didn't have my business together as it should be, and also things falling apart in my life on the personal side. And you told me you should come. Let me coach you. You know, we'll do some sort of exchange. You help me with this, and we'll do that. And I didn't really know that I needed coaching or I needed some
Right.
sort of because it started from coaching, and then we decided on a day. And you said, "All right, let's meet. When do you want to meet?" And I said, "You know, I was going out a lot at that time and doing still like having old ways of partying and stuff." And you said 9 a.m. on a Friday. And we used to go out on Thursday nights back then. And crazy. In retrospect, I can't believe how much I did go out back then. But but you said 9 a.m. Friday. I said, yes, let's do that. So I can't go out the night before and I have to be there and take responsibility. And, you know, thank you for this opportunity to get coaching with you. And I started going every morning, Friday mornings at 9 a.m. to see Dr. Goodman. And and the truth is, yeah, I was didn't know I needed the coaching, you know, until I saw what you were putting together. You were showing me organizational skills, you were showing me different things to find my values, and again, I didn't really know that this was coaching. And then it got to a point where it became more therapeutic, I guess per se. We started diving deeper into the deeper parts of the neurology and why these things happen, And a common theme was always, what you would say from your DeMartini, maximum evolution occurs at the border of chaos and order. And you would say that over and over during my, rants, or it's not fair, or life is this, and, it should be this way. And also another thing, and it's a common topic that we talk about too, my father, did well with a family company and did all these things. So I always wanting to go on my own and do my own thing because I just couldn't do the family company. And that was another thing I needed to get into the terms of, like, it's okay to do my life. And you coached me into that way of finding my own, being okay with where I'm at and being okay with all these things. And in the coaching process, you start seeing friends go away, you start seeing your life start changing, you start seeing a lot of things start dissolving that are no longer, that you keep trying to hold on to. But in our coaching and in our sessions and stuff like that, it just starts coming together, and we start making it happen. Of like, it just, you, discipline shall set you free, and that's what I learned from you. One of the main
What you
things.
get to notice, and you got to notice, is that you can't change and hold on to the status quo at the same time. You
Exactly.
have to let go to open the door to what comes next. And the letting go process for most of us is terrifying, because even though, I'll say it this way, even though you've never missed a meal, you've never not had a roof over your head, you've never, whatever you think that you're afraid will happen if you surrender, the truth is you get to the notice that no matter how much you get fearful of it, things have a way of working out.
Right.
And the purpose of the coach is to remind you to not believe anything you think. That the crazy person that lives up here that's telling you that if you let go, you're going to wind up with nothing, he really needs to, pardon my French, but shut the bleep up and dare to dream and take the risk, because the game is rigged in your favor. And so out of that, the book got written as a collaboration wherein you, I'm going to say, exquisitely put down the universal laws for success, health, and happiness that I have been studying and taught over the last, let's just say, very many years. And so we arrived to this place where I went from having a word of mouth coaching business with no website, no internet presence, no none of that, to what we've evolved to now, where we have regular internet presence, an ever evolving website, and a place where people can go when they feel uncomfortable, and when they feel uncomfortable enough to dare to ask the question, what happens if I let go? What happens if I really surrender? And what you've come to know, and you can say if it's true or not, but I know ahead of time what you're going to say because I've been with you every step of the way, that the truth is you have to surrender to win. And everybody wants to win, but they don't want to surrender.
When
And
you're
when you
saying surrender is your old ways, your old patterns, your old things.
That's right. You have to surrender the old way of doing things. You have to not listen to your inner critic. You have to basically be willing to tell your inner critic to shut the bleep up. And when you do that, you open the door to the window of possibility that creates what the workshop that we've come to work with is about, which is you get to live your goodest life. And haven't you lived that? And isn't that what's going on with you day by day by day?
Yes, no, for sure. I mean, now so many things have changed. I've moved out of Miami. I've met my wife. I now have a 1-year-old child. Yeah, and it's been amazing. And then just started a big business that we're working on. So, and aside from our stuff, And yeah, it's been a beautiful journey. But I want to get back to one thing. Like, yeah, people were asking, like, all right, this is all great. You guys wrote a book. You did this journey. Like, how did you? What is the process? Like, we did set up a structure of every Friday morning at 9 a.m. We'll do for like 6 weeks. We started off there, and then and I want to just express some of the tools in it because I think a lot of people just see coaching as just like, all right, we're gonna how much is in your business, what in your personal life, this. I think we do like a kind of holistic approach is what I'm seeing more with you. We saw the business side of it, but then we have to go into the neurological part of it of why you're making those decisions.
Coaching can be as open and comprehensive and big as you're willing to confront in yourself. The higher the quality of the questions you ask, the better the outcome you get. So some people just want what I'm going to call the band-aid approach to coaching, which is I've got a pain point, a simple problem that I just want that problem to go away. And we can coach to that. Or we can coach to dealing with where did the problem come from and why does it keep happening to me, all the way on up to what would happen if I dared to dream and was willing to do the work. Could I have the kind of altered life perception that would allow me to do what you've done, Martin, which is go from being, and I say this with love, the the wild and crazy guy party animal to become a responsible husband, father, business person who's ongoingly growing and evolving in your own skill set and taking the tools that you learn in working with me and not just applying them in your own business, but sharing them with and developing your own client base. And so it can go that way if you're, and I think this is the perfect point to leave people in consideration of, which is the outcome you get from coaching is directly proportional to your willingness to do the work.
Right. Well, another thing I just want to add in because I did add it in the book, and there is it is interesting on at the end of every chapter, you would in every session you would say some sort of universal law. So at the end of every chapter, I would put something related to the thing, like universal insight. You market the illusion to many, and the few will see the truth, or other things like universal insight. You're always exactly where you're supposed to be, doing what you're exactly supposed to be doing. Trust your process. It's just interesting there at the end. One other one here, just the universal rewards persist and the universal rewards persistence and perseverance. They're just the end of the chapter things. One thing I do want to bring up too, because I know in some of your process, and I know we don't talk a lot of it as part of your toolbox, but I did get introduced to NET, which is the neuroemotional technique where you actually held my arm up, and that was one of the things that was kind of that was like a game changer for me in the sense of what it was. I didn't know what it was, and you can learn more about that in the book. But it's basically holding your arm up, and it's incredible how our subconscious levels will make our arm fall. And
Your nervous system.
but just to finish the thought, just you went to some thoughts in me that like from like I was 19 and you held my arm up and we can find it. You're like, all right, well, how do you know 19? And you put mother, father, sister, and then it was like father, and my arm fell down. And something when I was like 8 years old, you pinpointed it down to that. After like the process is basically you talk first, you express all your things. When you find a certain point, it's called an NEC, a neuro emotional complex, and then he does the process. But you can learn more about it in the book and say that. But the point was, it's like to get to things that where I was like 8 years old and not even know and hold my arm up and see the instance and then have some sort of clearing in your process was that was a game changer in my part and a huge part. And actually why I wrote the book was like those techniques was just, it changed my life in so many ways. So I thank you for that. And I wanted to bring up because I know you don't talk too much often of the toolbox stuff and the NET, but that was a huge part for
So
me.
to know about the toolbox and all of what's in there, and the fact that the toolbox keeps growing. The other thing that you can do besides reading the book is go to the website because it's all laid out there very elegantly and very eloquently with visuals and videos and written content. It's there. And the point that you're talking about, I have news for you. It's been a game changer for me as well, even though I've been a student of it for more than 30 years, because it takes the guesswork out of what's the driving force. Because your neurological system is recording everything always. It doesn't forget anything. And so even though you may not consciously remember where you were on the day, what you were wearing, etc., there's a holographic memory of every significant emotional event you've ever been through. And what NET lets us do is use that fact and utilize your nervous system to find out the what, the why, the where, the when, and the how you get stuck. And then, equally important, I think in many ways more important, how to get unstuck. Because the bottom line is what Freud talked about as repetition compulsion is what keeps you stuck. Because when something in the present moment reminds your neurology of the original significant emotional event, you get drawn back to that event and you stay stuck until you work it through. And the point about working it through that I want to leave people with is the awareness that the most overused expression in the world that drives such frustration for people is the expression, get over it. If it was as easy as that, everybody would get over everything right away. The challenge is that your nervous system makes a holographic memory of these snapshots, significant emotional events, and the only way you can get over them is to recognize them, identify them, heal the trauma as it gets locked into your tissue, and then get congruent with being open to having it turn out the way you'd love to have it turn out so that you can live the life of your dreams. So, if you're ever not sure, believe me, you are. The way to find out is to ask the question, read our book, Fridays with Goodman, go to the website, Goodman Factor, or jump on a call. Take the risk. You're worth it.
Yeah. I want to leave it on one more part here if you can see that.
Yeah,
That's what
picture the book.
you'll see the book. Sorry, I have this blur effect. Come on. There. Oh. I gotta get out of the book. I can't get it focused. There we go. Right, it's a Goodman. See there. Right, a little picture there. I want to put a little excerpt and we'll end it here. It says, on what appears to be a comfortable leather armchair, that's where I sat in front of Dr. Larry Goodman. He looked up at me while he scribbled his name and pertinent information on a form on his clipboard, and he said, "So what's on your mind?" I was a little taken back since I had no idea what he was offering in exchange for me doing the marketing service. So I told him that I read a lot and that one of my favorite authors is Joseph Campbell. And I told him that my motivation for making this journey was to follow my bliss, as Campbell says. And without missing a beat, Larry brought me crashing down to earth by saying, it's okay to follow your bliss, but just don't quit your day job. And the Goodman factor had begun. So that's how I did. That's how I got this book. Check it out. I'll leave the links below. And so, yeah, that's a little taste. Maybe if you guys like this, we'll do a little bit more of these and I'll ask him more questions like this and we'll make it happen. All right. Well, have a great day. Talk to you later. See you later, Dr. Goodman.